TheSamRantics.
It's TheSamRantics.
You won't find crochet tutorials.
It's TheSamRantics.
Cause I wanna punch people in the nose.
It's TheSamRantics.
I'll still make your awesome car and home decor.
It's TheSamRantics.
Correct grammar doesn't have to be a chore.
It's TheSamRantics.
With semantics, Sam's antics, and more.
It's TheSamRantics.
Hi guys, it's Samantha Goodhart with TheSamRantics.com and TheSamRantics.etsy.com. Today I wanted to talk to you about copyright infringement and basically what that means for small businesses who make their own designs. So first of all, a little bit about myself. In May of 2014, I opened up my Etsy shop and I didn't really know much about copyright infringement. I met my boyfriend at a comic book store. The two of us are very big comic book nerds, and I wanted an Iron Fist decal. Now, this was 2014 before the show came out, so there weren't really any products that had Iron Fist's logo on it, which is just a fucking dragon. So I decided to teach myself how to make decals. And I made a decal with the Iron Fist logo, and then I started selling it online, and I made some more designs. And basically what I thought was that if these images weren't being sold, then it was free reign and I could just sell it myself. So like Spider-Man, I couldn't take a decal that Marvel was selling, but I could take a different image of Spider-Man and sell that. And I was wrong, because I didn't really know anything about copyright back then. But that's what I thought it meant. That, you know, if it wasn't being sold in that way, then I could do it. So in August and October of that year, I had 2 of my listings deactivated on Etsy. I got emails and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I think one of them was from Fox because I was selling a decal of the Fight Club soap. And then another one, I think it was Marvel. I don't remember. Yeah, it must have been Marvel. But I contacted both Marvel and DC. I had actually taken down all of my DC and Marvel listings and all of the ones that were copyright, which was basically everything that I had. And I contacted them and I was like, hey, I make decals and I wanted to sell your stuff. Is there any way that I can go into a licensing agreement? And both of them shot me down. I don't remember who I was speaking to. It was a while ago. But he was kind of interested, and he was like, how many can you bang out in a year and whatever. He wanted all this information, and it was basically me printing the designs backwards on the back of vinyl and using an X-Acto knife. I didn't even have a cutting machine back then. So that's how I would make the designs. And I came up with the numbers, and he was like, we can't do that. It's just not enough for profit. So that was that. And then I decided, well, if I want to keep selling my stuff, or, you know, selling anything, I need to come up with my own designs. So I did that. And, you know, obviously I had learned that what I was doing was wrong. So I made some new designs. I did some gay pride stuff. Here's one of the gay pride decals, or, you know, gay pride designs that I made. And that's one of the decals. And I also have ones that say Ally, Pride, and LGBT. But anyway, so those were really popular, and I got reviews after I sold them, and most of them were praising them because they were original. You know, you couldn't find them anywhere else, and that was awesome to me. So I kept going, and I made more. Not gay pride, but, you know, just more designs. And at that point I was just doing decals, and I did this for a few years. I made some designs that had an American flag, and there was text up at the top, and then, you know, at one letter, the stripe that would run down on the flag was a different color. And this is an example of one of them. But my biggest seller was one that said veteran at the top, and I believe it was the R that would run down, and it was a different color. But anyway, so in May of 2017, I found somebody else selling the same design that I had created, the one that said veteran at the top and it was an American flag, and it was different font, but it was the same exact design. So I reported it, and they took it down, and that was that. Now, with my decals, what I'm doing now and what I have been doing for a while is making them in advance and selling what I have. But what I used to do was, you know, print on demand or cut on demand. So I would make them when I got an order, and that just wasn't working out because I was wasting a lot of vinyl that way. So right now I actually have a lot of those American flag decal designs deactivated on Etsy because I don't have any made, and I don't have the vinyl to make them because apparently they wanted to discontinue a lot of the colors that I use, which is awesome, but that's a different story. So that was in May of 2017, and then a few months later I found it on Etsy again, so I reported it, and it's really funny. I have the email open on my computer in front of me. The shop's name is Born with Class Designs, which I found really fucking ironic. But anyway, so it says that they're reaching out on behalf of Born with Class Designs, yada yada. Seeing as you no longer have those listings, I am hoping we can resolve the issue to allow my team to repost our decal. So basically, they found my design. They did, you know, they changed the font and they wanted to sell it again. And I told them, you know, this is, or no, I'm sorry, I told them in the first place that it was designed by me. Like, I actually I took graph paper and I graphed it out and then I scanned it. But anyway, so when they sent that email, I just ignored it because I just can't do that. I can't explain over and over again what it means. But so since I started making my own designs, I now understand what copyright infringement is, and I understand how you know, small businesses, or not even small businesses, just designers themselves feel when their image or design or whatever, what have you, is stolen. So after I changed my shop from, you know, selling Marvel and DC stuff that was infringing on copyrights and trademarks and all that, and I started actually designing my own stuff, what I wanted to do, and actually what I wanted to do in the first place, was make everything in my shop handmade. So I love the decals, you know. Back then I would use an X-Acto knife, but now I have a cutting machine, so I have it on the computer, and then I cut it in the machine, and then I piece it together, or I weed it, which is basically taking away the excess vinyl or the dead space, and then, you know, that's the decal. And I started doing shirts a while ago, and it's the same thing. Like, obviously I can't create a shirt myself, but I order the blank shirts, and then same thing with the decals. I, cut the design, I put it on the shirt, and there's the shirt. I try to make it as handmade as possible. So I don't do any print on demand stuff. But when I quit my job in December, I was thinking, maybe I should actually start selling my designs on these websites, like $6 t-shirts and all of them. So I went looking. And, $6 t-shirts isn't looking for any designs right now. But I was looking at other websites, and I stumbled across Teespring. And I was like, okay, well, a lot of my shirts are crochet related, like this one. So I went to their crochet section, and I was like, all right, let's see what their market looks like. And they actually had a pretty decent selection of crochet shirts, but they were all like, I have a license to carry my 9mm and whatever. And it's funny because there must have been somebody who made that design in the first place, and now all of these people are selling them. And I don't think they realize that even with quotes, if it's on a product, that's your copyright. If you published it online, that's yours. So you can actually have this shit taken down. Anyway, so a couple of years ago, I created this and I think like 9 or maybe 11 more shirts. It was either 10 or 12 crochet shirts that I was selling on Etsy. And most of them, or no, I'm sorry, at first I had this ball of yarn crochet hook and just the text. And if I recall correctly, when I first started, I was just using different fonts and this ball of yarn crochet hook on the top. And that's just what the shirts looked like. So then, I think it was in 2016, it may have been 17, I'm not sure. But at some point, I changed it and I was like, well, I don't want this to look like everybody else's shirt. So I actually hand wrote all of the quotes. And mind you, the shirts that I made with the crochet design on them, they were all not exactly quotes where, they're things that you see everywhere, but they're quotes that I came up with. And I made sure that they weren't anywhere else because I don't want to steal somebody else's quote. So, like this one, they're basically all things that I've said when I'm crocheting. And if you're a crocheter, then you understand that. So, I decided that I wanted to handwrite all of them. So I did that, I wrote it down, I scanned it, and I put it in my software, and I'd put it with the ball of yarn that I actually drew myself. And, I'd set up the design on the computer and then have the machine cut it, and that's how I would design the shirts. So, in January, I was on Teespring, and I saw one of my designs on a shirt, and it basically somebody had taken my quote and found some clip art ball of yarn and put it on a shirt. And what really got me was when I first started doing the crochet shirts, or shirts with crochet designs. I wasn't actually crocheting shirts, but when I first started doing it, there was that first one that I made, and I was so proud of it because it's like, hey, I made something and people are actually really into it. And it said, if I yell it's too big, I can't get it in, or the hole's too small, don't worry, I'm only crocheting. And, it had a ball of yarn crochet hook. It's that same one that I drew, because I was just using the same drawing that I made. So that was the first one that I made. And that is the one that I found on Teespring. And it wasn't using my handwriting, but it was using a font that looked very similar to my handwriting. So, thinking about it now, I'm pretty sure what this person did was they tried to find my handwriting as a font on the computer on like Font Space or 1001 fonts or whatever, and they couldn't find it, so they just searched for one that was similar. And mind you, my handwriting, it's all caps, and it's like kind of slanted. I don't know why I write like that, but that's just how it goes. So they used one that was all caps, and they just typed out my quote, put it with a clip art ball of yarn, or maybe they even drew it themselves. That would be nice if they actually drew the yarn, but I highly doubt it. But yeah, they took that and they put it on Teespring, and so I reported the listing, and I got an email. I don't know if it was the next day or when, but they said that they had removed it and yada yada. So today, or actually yesterday, it is 1:39 a.m. So I woke up at 11:50 something maybe. And mind you, yesterday I had a really bad coughing fit. I had like dog hair or something in my throat, and I was coughing for a while. So my throat is really bothering me. I don't know if you can tell. But I woke up at 11:50 something, and I got out of bed, and I went and got a cough drop, and then I went back to bed, and I was like, well, I don't want to fall asleep and choke on this cough drop. So I was eating the cough drop, and I'm browsing Facebook on my phone, and I was like, oh cool, one of my shirts was featured on this crochet page. And so I clicked on it, and then at the top I saw the link, and it was like bit.ly/somecrap, and I clicked on it, and I was like, this isn't my listing. And so what I've started doing, I started selling my shirts on, or rather, I started selling my designs on different shirts. So I used to use Gildan all the time, which is what this is. And I found these really comfortable shirts that are from Bella and Canvas, and I started selling my designs on those. Now, those, unfortunately, I can't get in store anywhere near me, so I actually have to have them shipped to me as I get an order, because I started selling my designs on, specific types of shirts, but in various colors, and I don't have room to keep all of those in stock. So I basically took my design, and on the computer on Photoshop, I put it on these shirts that I'm selling in the various colors, and that's how I've been listing my Etsy shirts. And it was the exact same photo that I had on my Etsy listing that was on this listing, which wasn't on Etsy, mind you. It was some other website. It wasn't Teespring. It was T-Chip, which I've never even heard of. But anyway, so this one was, it's actually my bestseller right now. It says, what am I knitting? Nothing. Why would I knit with a crochet hook? And I don't know why, but over the past year, and I don't mean, well, I mean, technically it's early in the year, so yeah. Last year I was selling that shirt like crazy. And so somebody, it's funny too, they basically took the exact design Like, they just copied it and put it on a shirt, but the ball of yarn on the shirt in my picture is too blurry to actually use. So they found other clip art and they put that on the shirt, but they have the same exact font. And it's just, it's really upsetting, you know, like, I've spent so much time on these designs and now I know how it feels. Like, of course, when I started my shop, I was taking from big companies and, you know, I was using designs that, you know, artists had drawn, but I thought that I could sell it a different way. Like, you know, I'm not reproducing the comic, but I'm taking the image and selling it in a way that it hasn't been sold yet. And you can't do that. But it just really gets to me that people think that they could just, you know, take something that they see and sell it. Like, just fucking steal somebody's design, copy and paste. That's not how it works, and it's really fucking shitty. And I've tried to explain to numerous people, because I keep getting people, and, like, even in my family, people are like, oh, well, why don't you sell this design? This isn't anywhere. And it's like, I can't do that anymore. I am trying to make my business legitimate. It's all my fucking designs. That's what it is. I'm not selling anybody else's shit. You know, when I design something and it has words on it, I try to make sure that I can't find that anywhere else. Or, you know, if I think of it, I'll just fucking do it. If it's something long, like the first one, if I yell, it's too big, I can't get it in, or the hole's too small, don't worry, I'm only crocheting. I'm pretty sure that exact quote wasn't somewhere else, but I actually did check for that before I posted it. But like this, it says, I like big balls. I did not make this mug. My sister actually got it for me for, I think, Christmas a couple of years ago. And I actually never noticed that the text is like yarn. But anyway, I don't sell anything that says I like big balls because somebody else is doing that already. So I make my own shit. I draw my own stuff. I, you know, use my own quotes. I even have a book of my fucking designs right here. And let's see if I have one of the crochet ones. Yeah. So here is, and by book I mean graph paper or binder. So here's one of the ones that I made on graph paper. I don't know if you could see the graph. There you go. And I scanned it, I put it into Photoshop, and apparently I fucked up the R when I was making it, so I fixed it on the computer. But yeah, so that's what I do. I fucking draw it up and fucking scan it. I edit it on Photoshop, and that's about it. So when I was originally planning on making this video, I thought that I was going to be yelling and everything, but what happened was, this was in January when, you know, that fucking person just stole the crochet design, and I was like, I should make a video about it and put it up and be like, hey, what the fuck, and just explain to people how it's fucking wrong. But I didn't. And so today, when basically the same thing happened, I reported the item, and then I went back upstairs to go to sleep, and I just couldn't fucking sleep. I was laying there for half an hour, and I was like, well, my throat's killing me, so why not fucking talk and make it worse? But, yeah. The point I'm trying to make is that people actually work on this shit and dedicate their time to it. They spend hours, days, weeks, even months sometimes creating shit. And other people are just fucking taking it in a matter of seconds or minutes and putting it on their own shit. And it's fucking crazy. Like, how can you do that? I just don't understand it. Like, the other day, I decided to draw a new skein of yarn with a crochet hook. So I did that, and I actually put a video of it up. And it took me 42 minutes to draw that thing. And, you know, the video that I put up was actually sped up. So, you weren't watching me draw a fucking skein of yarn for 42 minutes. Even though some people probably would. But, you know, that was almost an hour spent making that. And then, that was just the ball of yarn. I fucking drew, or, no, I'm sorry. I took the crochet hook that I had drawn from this image, and I pasted it in there on Photoshop. But then I had to put that design on all of these other shirts on Photoshop. And that took time. It takes me about an hour to create one listing on the computer. And, you know, that's after I've already made the design. So after I've scanned it in and, you know, edited the decal on the computer on Photoshop. When I'm actually putting it on these different colored shirts or, you know, different styles of shirts or whatever the fuck they are. If I'm putting it on any type of apparel online, that takes an hour. And, you know, this person today or yesterday or whenever the fuck they even did it, they used the exact fucking image that I made, and I don't know. I just fucking hate people sometimes. But yeah. So, I think that's all I have to say about that for now. I'm glad I got that off my chest. But, hey, you know, if you want to buy some shirts or decals with designs that I actually did make, TheSamRantics. Don't forget the THE, because there's fucking some bitch who does burlesque stuff. And she calls herself Semantics with an A in semantics. And then there's some guy in the UK who's singing, and he also calls himself Semantics, which is awesome, because I fucking made a blog and got that as my domain name when I started my business in 2014. Now these fucking people are popping up, and it's like, hey, that's nice. So now these other people are being found when people are trying to search for my shop, basically. So, anyway. Yeah. I would appreciate your business, and it will all be handmade. I guarantee that. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope that you've learned something, and I hope that maybe you understand where people are coming from if, you know, you ever find somebody offended, because, you know, that's how people are these days. They're all fucking offended about something. But, yeah, if you find somebody offended that their design was stolen, like, even just fucking taking a picture and putting it on, like, a Facebook group and being like, hey, I made this, but I didn't actually. Like, even not selling it. Like, that hurts people. And that is a fucking topic for a different video, because, oh, I got those. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching. I hope that you come back for more SamRantics, and until next time, take care.
TheSamRantics. Oh boy. That's fun. Let's see. Let's do that one more time.